Well, hi, my friends. Sorry, the lighting's a little weird in here because it's raining cats and dogs, and I'm just trying to adjust myself here so you're not blinded by the light. Blinded by the light. Okay, I'm feeling better, so thank you for all your prayers, and sort of, it's going to take a while, takes time. And I'm keeping you in prayer, and TC for your friend as well, Bill, and Andre. I'm glad that it was just a joke. I was like, unsubscribed? What? So, thank you. um, anyway, going to be going to celebrate my father's father-in-law. He's really been more like a dad to me. His 100th so I'll be flying out to see him soon in another weekend or so. And so looking forward to doing that. Oh, sorry about this light. Okay. So anyway, we are, let's see what's going on. I just wish that, the FBI would do its job, and that Jeff Sessions would either remove himself if he can't do his job and get somebody in there that can, so that we can find out, really what's going on, and that, they get some investigation done into the Clinton campaign and all of that, and all that it entails. Anyway, we stopped at page 83 in Swedenborg, and we're talking about seeing God as a human, and every time that you think about God, that's what you should see him in human form. That God manifests within himself everything that exists. And that comes from love and wisdom and so forth. So, and that's the correct way to see him, not as somebody in the air. He's within you, just as you have 3 different layers of yourself. So does heaven, and it all corresponds with each other. So, in the divine human one, infinite things are distinguishable one, okay? It's recognized that God is infinite. He is, in fact, called the infinite one. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, but he is called infinite because he is infinite. He is not infinite simply because he is an intrinsic, essential reality and manifestation, but because there are infinite things in him. An infinite being without infinite things within it would be infinite in name only. The infinite things in him should not be called infinitely many or infinitely all, because of our earthly concepts of many and all. Our earthly concept of infinitely many is limited. There is something limitless about our concept of infinitely all. It still rests on limited things in our universe. This means that since our concept is earthly, we cannot arrive at a sense of infinite things in God by some process of shifting to a higher level or by comparison. Because we're here on earth. We are limited to our earthly understanding. So, however, since angels enjoy spiritual concepts, they can surpass us by changing to a higher level and by comparison, though they cannot reach infinity itself. Yeah. Anyone can come to an inner assurance about the presence of infinite things in God. Anyone, that is, who believes that God is a person. Because if God is a person, he has a body and everything that having a body entails. So he has a face, a torso, abdomen, upper legs, lower legs, since without these he would not be a person. Since he has these components, he also has eyes and ears, nose, mouth, tongue. He has what we find within a person, such as a heart, lungs, and things that depend upon them, and all of which take together make us human. We are created with these many components, and if we consider them in their interconnections, they are beyond counting. In the divine human one, though, they are infinite, nothing is lacking, so he has an infinite completeness. We can make this comparison of the uncreated person who is God with us, who are created because that God is a person. It is because of his being a person that we earthly beings are said to have been created in his image and in his likeness. And that's from Genesis 1, 2, and 27. The presence of infinite things in God is even more obvious to angels because of the heavens where they live. The whole heaven is made up of millions of angels. Is like a person in its overall form. Each individual community of heaven, large or small, is the same, and therefore an angel is a person. An angel is actually a heaven in its smallest form. You can go back and read Heaven and Hell, page 51 to 87, for that. Heaven is in its form overall, regionally, and in individuals because of the divine nature that angels accept, since the extent to which angels accept the divine nature determines the perfection of their human form. This is why we say that angels are in God, God is in them, and God is everything to them. The multiplicity of heaven is indestructible, and since it is divinity that makes heaven, therefore divinity is the source of that indescribable multiplicity that we can quite clearly, and there are infinite things in that and we can see quite clear that there are infinite things in that quintessential person who is God. We can draw the same inference from the created universe if we turn our attention to its functions and the things that answer to them. However, this will not be comprehensible until some examples have been offered. Since there are infinite things in the divine human one, things that are, so to speak, reflected in heaven, in angels, and in us, and since the divine human one is not in space, we can see that and understand to some extent how God can be omnipotent, omniscient, omniprovident, and how even as a person he can create everything, and how a person he can forever keep everything he has created in its proper order. Further, we can look at ourselves, we can see a kind of reflection of that fact, that these infinite things in the divine human one are distinguishable one, and there are things within us, countless things, as already noted, yet we feel them as one. Right? You think about your own body, but you think yourself as one. You don't think, there's a lot of individual things going on, but you think of yourself as one. Okay. On the basis of our feelings, we have no sense of our brain or heart or lungs, of our liver, spleen, pancreas, okay, that's what I just said, okay, of the countless components of our eyes, ears, tongue, stomach, sexual organs, and so on. Since we are not aware of them, we sense them all as one. The reason is that all these organs are gathered into a form that precludes the absence of any one of them. It is a form designed to receive life from the divine human one, as explained in 4 and 6 above. The organization and connection of all of these elements in this kind of form give rise to the feeling that therefore to the image of them, not as many or countless, but as one. We may therefore conclude that the innumerable many components that constitute a kind of unity in us are distinguishable, one, supremely so, in that coincidental person who is God. There is one human God who is the source of everything, and all the elements of human reason unite in a sense, and center on, the fact that the single God is the creator of the universe. As a result, rational people, on the basis of their shared understanding, neither do nor can think in any other way. Tell people of sound reason that there are two creators of the universe, and you will feel within yourself how they recoil from the notion, perhaps simply from the tone of the voice in your ear. This enables us to see that all elements of human reason unite and center on the oneness of God. There are two reasons for this. The first is that its own right. Our very ability to think rationally is not our own property. It's the property of God within us. Human rationality in general depends on this fact, and this general property causes our reason more or less spontaneously to see the oneness of God. Second is that through our rational ability, either we are in heaven's light or we draw from it in some general quality of its thought. And all the pervading elements of heaven's light is that God is one. This is not the case if we have used our rational ability to skew our lower understanding, and in this case we will process the ability, but by the distortion of our lower abilities, we have steered it off course, and our rationality is not sound. We may not be aware of it, but we all think of an aggregation of people as a single individual. So we understand right away when somebody says that monarchs are the head and that the subjects are the body, when someone says that this or that individual has some particular role in the body politic, that is in the realm. It is the same with the spiritual body as in the civil. The spiritual body is the church, whose head is the divine human one. We can see from this what kind of person a church would look like under this construct, and if we were not to think of one God as creator and sustainer of the universe, but of many gods instead, we would apparently be envisioning a single body with many heads on it, not a human being, then but a monster. So if we were to claim that these heads have a single essence that made them all one head, then the only possible image would be either a single head with many faces, or of many heads with one face. It is our perception then that the church would look grotesque. In fact, one God is the head. The church is the body, that acts as the bidding of the head, and not on its own. And it is true of us as well. This is also why there is only one monarch per realm. More than one pull it apart, one holds it together. It would be the same in the church that is spread throughout the world, which is called a communion because it's like a single body under a single head. It is recognized that the head governs the body beneath itself as at will. The head is, after all, the locus of our discernment, of our volition. The body acts on the behest of the discernment and volition to the point that the body is pure obedience. The body is capable of doing anything except at the behest of this discernment and volition in the head. It is similar fashion that we of the church can do nothing apart from God. It does seem, though, the body acts on its own, as though hands and feet move of their own accord when we do something, as though mouth and tongue vibrate on their own accord when we say something, and yet nothing whatsoever is done on its own. It is prompted by the stimulus of our volition and the consequent thinking of the discernment in the head. And there I'll stop. Do hope that you have a blessed Wednesday, hump day, and please be safe out there, and keep me in prayer as we go to and fro, and I'll keep you in prayer as well. I'll be, flying out to see my father-in-law soon. Love you.